All right, we're here with Morgan from Bloodshot Dawn, Pedro from A&P-REACTS behind the camera. Welcome to Toronto. Welcome back home.
Thank you.
How does it feel to be back home?
Great, great. Yeah, I arrived at 6:30 in the morning. We drove through the night from Ottawa, so...
Yeah, you guys already had a couple of shows.
Toronto.
And I was going to ask you, did you pick ever the best time to come back to Toronto? Like, you guys arrived probably at the worst ice storm ever.
Yeah. I wasn't happy about that because I was like a couple weeks ago I was in Vietnam and it was like 30 degrees. I was like just getting melted by the sun. And I show up here, I didn't even have a coat. My parents were like, "Oh my God, here's 5 sleeping bags." So
yeah, I can imagine.
It wasn't that great.
So you're playing in Toronto, your hometown. A lot of family and friends coming over to watch you play today. How exciting is that? And nervous? Like, are you nervous?
Nervous? A little bit. I perform a lot, so I'm used to the pressure, I would say. But like, I don't know. I think it's nice to perform for my family. Like, they don't get to see me that often, also. And yeah, but it's really cool to be here and to just like play for them and to have a good time. You know, like, I don't know. It's great. I just love Canada, and I'm happy to be here.
How did the opportunity to do a tour in Canada this extensive came about? Because most bands, when they come over, they include some US shows, and normally they stop Montreal, Toronto, that's about it. But you guys are doing a really extensive Canada tour. How did that opportunity come about?
Yeah, I mean, I would say, like, we've had people interested in tours all over the place, you know, and it always depends on what we can kind of get out of it for the band. And I think, like, Canada, we have a lot of fans from here. We have a lot of like super fans ordering stuff, and like we've met already a bunch, and it's been just great. Like I think the scene here has a lot to do with that. Like our music, I think, fits really well in the community here. So we were just like, okay, let's do a Canada tour. I mean, the US tour, the visas are a bit crap. Like it's a lot better now that Canada took away that whole visa business. I mean, obviously not for me because I'm Canadian anyway, but you know, for the other guys in the band.
Yeah, you can't play by yourself.
no, backing track. No, don't try. Yeah, I think obviously Brett from APOC, these guys, we're touring with them. He's a big fan, he's a big supporter. He's also promoting a lot of shows around here, so I think he was pushing for it, and it was just the right time to do it. You know, like a new album coming out. You know, the band's been around for 15 years, and there are people being like, "Oh, we've been waiting like 8 years to see you guys." So it has a kind of like nice feeling to come here and to have just fans just like be pumped to see us. And yeah, I think we want to hit the US at some point, but yeah, like I said, it just depends on what kind of tours you can get.
It's funny you mentioned that because the moment you guys announced the tours in Canada and the Toronto stop, I was bombarded with messages saying, you better not miss the Toronto show. So it's funny that you say that because I got a lot of that. Cool. And obviously, as soon as you guys announced it, I picked up the ticket like immediately. I was not going to miss the show. Plus, I wanted to really support you guys.
Thanks a lot.
You mentioned the album, the new album, Reanimation, came out this year.
January,
it's the band's 3rd album. Do you feel like this album really marks a growth in the band and where they're going with their sound?
Yeah, I mean, I think the band as a whole, like I wasn't around for the first two albums, right? Yeah. And I think the band has always struggled, or not struggled, I mean done specifically trying to like push the boundaries of new ideas. You know, I think the first 2 albums are very different. I think this is also quite different, right? But I do think that it is kind of a growth. Because we really worked together on the album, and I don't know, it's hard to say growth because I wasn't there for the other ones, you know, like, but I'm super happy with what came out musically, right? But I think we found a sound that we're really happy with, and I think we want to kind of keep pushing that direction, you know. So if in terms of growth, like those guys were really young also when they started with the first album, and then it was maturing, and you know, Josh has a really specific view also of what he wants for the band. So yeah, we're pushing it, we're growing, definitely. I don't know if that answers the question.
No, it does, because I felt like there is a little bit of a departure, if you will, from the 2nd album to this 3rd album. So I figure as the band gets more mature, gets more experience of playing on the road, doing tours, perhaps this album is just showing a little bit of that growth, because it's also been a while in terms of time between both albums, right?
Definitely, yeah. I mean, I joined about 2.5 years ago. You know, I messaged Josh like right when Ben left, and I was like, "Yo, I'm the man for the job," and we had already been talking like prior to that, so it was, you know, it wasn't the smoothest changeover, you know, like a lot of the members, like Yana, he's playing in Dark Funeral now, so I don't know, and Ben's playing in Scar Symmetry, so they also moved up to, I mean, I would say definitely up, to some really, you know, pretty influential bands for us and stuff also. So I mean, it's great to see those guys go there, and I think like with us joining, yeah, we've had really a long time to think about what we want, and that really came through with this album. You know, like we reanimated the band and we brought it to a place what we're really happy with. So I hope the fans feel that like they still enjoy the music. Or
yeah, I personally enjoyed the album. I did an album review. I really enjoyed the album.
Yeah,
I thought
thank you, man.
that, like, I noticed that a little bit of a departure from the second album to the third album, but that's to be expected as bands progress. You're not always going to get the same. I mean, it would get boring if you got the same thing album after album.
I agree.
When you guys are working on an album like that, considering that you were new in the band, the thought process and the creative process behind putting that album together, is that something that you guys all work together, or there is more of coming into the studio, let's jam, see what comes from there? And
I mean, it was I think we had like a kind of an interesting process for this one, you know, like sorry, the big soundtrack. Yeah, like, I don't know, for this album, I think I was really motivated to write a lot of music and to bring my side of what I love about metal to the songs, you know. So I spent a lot of time just writing riffs by myself, like months at a time, pretty much. Like I spent 3 or 4 months, like every day, just like cramming to like see also what I could bring and what I thought was going to fit for the band, you know, because
perhaps put your fingerprint on it.
Exactly, yeah. And but it was really interesting, and me and Josh, we had kind of song names in mind. We had kind of concept also for the album that we had in mind, and especially lyrically, Josh was doing all that stuff. So it was interesting. Like I had a lot of riffs. I had about like 5 times too many riffs for each song, and I would bring him these projects, and he just kind of like put it together in a way that I would never imagine, you know. He was cutting out some of the riffs I liked best, and I was just like, you know, it actually turned out awesome to do it that way. And we also we spent about 3 weeks just chilling in a room together, like about this size, just like, you know, sweating it up and grinding and putting the album together, and we found a lot of interesting compromise. Like I think previously with the band, some guys were pretty like strong about like what they wanted for the band, and I came in with my vision, but I also was open to see like where it could go, and I really grew from there. Like we added riffs, we started songs from scratch, we made songs just like ping-ponging riffs back and forth. So yeah, man, that was just a really interesting process that way. You know, we left a lot of the lead stuff also, you know, like with the lead specifically, I like to talk about leads because it's kind of my favorite thing in the music. I did like to take a little bit more time by myself for that after we had kind of structured the songs, and a lot of the leads I just improvised on the spot in those 3 weeks. So and same with Josh, and he wrote all the lyrics, and everything was just kind of coming together. It was kind of like a magical time, honestly, for us. There, so it was a bit long-winded, but
no, it's fine, it's perfect. I was going to ask you, I want to wrap up things because I see the sound guys are starting to get warm. They're kicking us out. After this tour is finished, what do you guys have in plans as far as the rest of the year?
Well, we have a lot of stuff. Well, that could be in the works, may or may not be in the works, but yeah, like I said, it's always about what you can get on and who can offer you a tour package and something that we can afford. Because I think in Europe it would be nice to support, because we don't have the biggest following in mainland Europe. It's a pretty difficult market to get into. But I'm hoping for that. We definitely have Japan, and we have Japan in 4 shows with Taka in July. That's gonna be sick. We have Hellfest. We had some huge festivals.
Yeah,
Hellfest.
You got some big festivals.
We have Techfest, and we may or may not have another festival being announced soon. So, you know, some bigger festivals.
So you guys gonna have a busy 2018.
We will, and we're pushing. We want to push the album. You know, we're really happy with the set that we have together. You know, like a nice mix of old tracks and also pushing some of the new songs. So I'm really looking forward to playing around the world with this one, you know.
Well, I don't want to take any more of your time, so I want to thank you for your time.
No, thank you, man. Thanks for the reviews
and no problem. And awesome. For those guys watching at home, make sure you catch these guys on the road. They're in Canada for a little while, so you can't miss a chance to watch these guys on the road. So make sure you catch them on the road. Thanks.
Right. Thanks, man.
Take care, man.
Thanks, Pedro.